Today I wanted to cover this Pew Research survey that was done, recent survey about global and U.S. public opinion on climate change. And if you want to increase the size of this slide so I can discuss the results.
Sure. Hang on a second. Sorry, playing around with your lower third. All right, there you go.
So, all right. So here you can see this is relating to the U.S. and you can see that over the years it's been going up. I'm not sure why. Like in the last part, it dips a little bit, but it's still like all on the rise. In 2015, you can see that the blue line breaks. The blue line is about climate change, and the green line is about just environmental problems altogether. So for some reason, the U.S. public is much more concerned about environmental issues altogether. When you ask them specifically about climate change, their response is they're not as concerned about it. And the place where the line breaks, they actually asked it in two different ways. They asked it, are you concerned about climate change? And the other way was, are you concerned about global warming? And the global warming actually received more response than the climate change. So I don't know if we have to change the discussion on it, the framing on it. Perhaps some research needs to be done how to frame it. Apparently, at least psychologically, it has an impact of what do you call it?
Let's thank MSM for that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly.
And all in all, I don't think we're where we're supposed to be. In order to get to where we're supposed to be, the line should be like this. Right now, you can see it's not. Hopefully, we can turn it around and we can get this nice exponential curve from here, but that's really what it depends on. Here we see the difference between Republicans and Democrats, and you can see that throughout the years, the response to climate change has significantly changed for Democrats, but barely moved for Republicans. If you look at the red line, it started at 23, I believe, and it's now 27. Barely any movement.
Where did they get their information? I wonder.
Well, that is essentially the problem. Basically, they're not as concerned. If you look at the other display, they're just basically not as concerned with what's going on. So. All right, so if you want to go to the next one.
You know, I'd love to, it's probably, maybe there's a chart for this, but I'd love to see if they did this based on geographic location, because I wonder how many of those people just haven't been directly affected by climate crisis yet, you know?
Well, I think that, that's a good question, but I think conservatives and Democrats were taken probably at the same kind of level to even out across their geographic testing, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
So here you can see that there's like a correlation where it comes to education, but only for Democrats. The people that have more knowledge or education consider significantly more seriously the fact that it's human activity that's causing it. And with Republicans, surprisingly, that's not the case. They're pretty much the same, regardless of what level of scientific education you have.
That's education versus indoctrination. Indoctrination wins. As an ex-Catholic, I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, and this is like specifically for scientific education, scientifically related knowledge. Yeah, and then they looked at. I think the next one is about. How it changes across the age group, and you can see that almost on any topic, the millennials come first, then the Gen Xers, and then the boomers. So they're the most progressive field politically right now.
They remember
and
to
I
count
think they
Gen
get it. It's encouraging because it's going to be more of them, sadly, and less of the older folks as we go along. And that I don't know if it can happen fast enough, but you can see that this is happening.
What happens fast enough? That more old people die, or that more of them get it?
Well, the young guys are getting into the fields to be able to do stuff about it. So.
Well, yeah, agreed.
And now they also looked at international effects, and you can see the U.S. is kind of in the middle of the pack where it comes to how many people consider it as a serious problem. Global climate change is a serious problem, as opposed to the number of people who don't think it's as serious, or they don't think at all that it's happening or whatever. So. Unfortunately, I'm a little embarrassed. Israel is at the bottom of that list.
Weird.
It has to do more with the fact that they're completely focused on other political things,
Including cannabis, by the way.
Pointing because after all, it's a low-lying country with a huge coastal region. So, if anybody is going to be affected, it's Israel. And you can see the other parts of the graph show also the movement of public opinion in the world, in different countries, as it goes from year to year across the years, and almost in all, except for that little dip in the bottom one, almost
Poland.
all of them are going up. So that's encouraging too.
Yeah, what's up with Poland in the dip?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know, but they don't have a completely democratic government there, and I think that has to do with it, what's being shown and what's being shared, information. As is the case with Hungary and Russia. Russia is also very badly affected. They believe that it's a hoax.
Wow. That's unfortunate. But you think overall in the U.S. this is a positive? Overall in the world?
Well, we're kind of in the middle there, so I think there's a lot of space for improvement.
All right.